Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Monday edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, and Parrish Construction and Roofing. You need an orthopedist? You go to Brock. You need a roof? You call Parrish. Of course, also Unique Physique, uniquephysique.com, semaglutide, tirzepatide, the once-a-week injection for weight loss. You've heard about it. You know about it. People have talked about it. You know someone who's doing it. If you want to help lose weight, Unique Physique can help. Telemed, they can ship anywhere in the country. So even if you're outside of Baton Rouge, uniquephysique.com. And of course, Crystal Poche and restoredmotions.com. I just hit that desk. My apologies. Okay, y'all. Hope you had a great weekend. I did. Hope your week's off to a wonderful start. LSU football be back on the practice field here Monday morning. Sunday was a recovery day. So Monday back on the practice field. Media does have availability, although a bit limited today. We're not, they start practice at 9:45. We aren't allowed availability today until 10:45. So I guess we'll miss the first hour of practice, get to see the second hour. And we'll have a full practice report today on AFR. Of course, tomorrow on Locked on LSU. Tigers are full pads. So one of the things Blake Baker said, interestingly, over the weekend was they only have 4 practices where they go full tackle, like full tackle to the ground. Saturday was one of them. And we talked about that session, how it went. So I don't know that today's going to be one of those days. I don't imagine it will be, but those opportunities will be interesting. Seeing the defense improve has been encouraging. So let me know what else y'all are interested in seeing. I'll tell you, I want to keep an eye on Zy Alexander to see if they continue to ramp him up more and more. He's been running with the 3s, so curious to see if he gets more opportunity, maybe to move up with the 2s, the 1s, depending on how his knee feels. And if so, whose spot does he take? My guess is, don't know, guess. My guess is if Zy Alexander goes to corner, Sage Ryan goes back to safety, Jordan Allen comes off the field. That's just my guess, but we'll wait and see how that all plays out as we get closer to the start of the season. 3 weeks from yesterday, y'all, we're 20 days from LSU against USC out in Las Vegas. Looking forward to it, man. Okay, YouTube, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post, all that good stuff. Let's say some good mornings. You know the drill. Fire away. Anything about anything. Tim Gotro, good morning. Trivia Carter, Melody, good morning. Trivia, I don't appreciate you showing me up, Tim Gotro. You almost got blocked. Because he was first. Matt, let's see. Good morning. Just watched Locked On. Speak for myself, but with perk comments from the fans, I'm guessing part 1. Since he didn't play full season, full stats would be better part 2. Wait. So are you talking about Perkins freshman year, sophomore year? He did play a full season, by the way, played in every game as a freshman. He didn't start every game, but he did play in every game as a freshman. And what Matt's alluding to there, so today on Locked On, I kind of talked, Blake Baker sort of raved about Harold Perkins. And I drew the comparisons between Perkins as a freshman and a sophomore. As a freshman, the coaches voted him second team All SEC. As a sophomore, the coaches voted him second team All SEC. As a freshman, he had 72 tackles. As a sophomore, he had 75 tackles. As a freshman, he had 13 TFLs. As a sophomore, he had 13 TFLs. I mean, his production was what and what. And so in the same number of games played, Matt, it's irrelevant if he started the game or not. You see what I'm saying? Like, the impact is still the same. He made the same amount of tackles. Same amount of TFLs. Like, it was all there. The difference is he was just on a horrendous defense. And so a lot of his impact was minimized because they weren't on the field for important plays because they gave up so many points. But I'm encouraged, man. Blake Baker has kind of a queen piece on the chessboard. You know, the way they talk so much was like Perkins was going to move inside and sort of be that inside backer, and he is playing there, but he's lining up all over. We've seen him make plays in run defense. We've seen him make plays rushing the passer. We've seen him make plays dropping in coverage so far in camp. So they're going to use him all over the field, and I think that's going to maximize him. Let's see. Kelly Gross, good morning. A&A Trucking, good morning. Matt, read that one. Brad David, Baby Bobby, good morning. Ryan Pike, what exactly happened with Devin White that he lost his job and went to Philly? Pass defense? I don't think he lost his job. Now, grant you, I'm not familiar with every darn thing that's going on in Tampa, but I think it was a contract situation, certainly, where he wanted more than they were willing to pay. I would compare Devin White's situation. So his deal with Philly is 1 year, $4 million. I think it's one of those things with Devin White that's probably comparable to Willie Gay or Chase Young, guys with the Saints who signed 1 year contracts. You want a big deal, and let's see. What's a team willing to pay? Hang on. Where is it? Oh, there we go. So, oh God. They signed into a 1 year contract with 4 voided years after. So they basically spread out his money over 5 years. God, the NFL and their salary cap is so stupid. Like, why even bother? So the way they structured Devin White's deal, so it was a 1 year, $4 million deal, right? Whatever. But they actually added they added 4 voided years on the back of the contract. So like Philly's going to take a $1.7 million cap hit this year, 2.1 next year, then 548, 548, 548 the next 3 years. Like Devin White's going to be on their books for 5 years for this 1 year contract. Anyway, whatever. It's just the NFL so stupid with their salary caps. And so Devin White had his rookie deal, which was 4 years, $29 million at the 5th year option, of course. But I don't know. I don't know what else happened there that my guess is he wanted to be paid and they didn't want to pay him, and neither did anybody else. So wait and see how he does with his 1 year kind of prove it deal in Philly. Same as Chase Young. Chance Babin, Matt, who's Bo Davis defensive line coach at LSU? Did he play for Pete? He did play for Pete Jenkins, yes. In Pete Jenkins' first stint at LSU. Wait. Actually, that may not map up. Hang on. Bo was on staff at LSU when Nick Saban was hired, and Pete Jenkins was the defensive line coach. Let's see. Bo, no. Bo played 90 to 92. Hang on. No, because Pete wasn't here. Pete wasn't here with Curly. Pete's last season was 90. Yeah, so Pete's last season was 90. Curly didn't retain him. And then went to Mississippi State after that. I don't know who Bo's defensive line coach would have been when he was a player. But when he was back here in 2002, Pete was the defensive line coach at LSU under Nick Saban. Let's see. Kevin Cloud, good morning. Dale Broussard, good morning. C.J. Daniels, number 3 wide receiver. Dale, this is my opinion. I think Kyron Lacy leads LSU in receptions and receiving yards. I think C.J. Daniels is probably number 2 in those, but I think Chris Hilton leads LSU in touchdowns. Excuse me. I think Chris Hilton is either leads or second in touchdown receptions. I think he's got incredible big playability, similar to Brian Thomas. Think of it that way. Malik led LSU in receptions, receiving yards. Brian Thomas led in touchdowns. I think it could be similar. Abner, good morning. Did you see the video of Ryan Clark speaking to the LSU team? I did see that video. True words, man. RC loves LSU, man. I know there's some feelings among LSU fans, but tell you, man, whenever I feel like I've said this here before, but I know I've said it many places. The worst part about being in the opinion media is giving opinions, because no matter what you say, you're going to tick somebody off. So you got to be okay with that. He is, I am, just what it is. Randall, good morning. Tiger Diver, Lance Willie, buenos dias, Mateo, LSU Deportes. All right, Lance, good morning. Matt, good luck to Drew, New St. Lillian. We got to decide what we're going to call it, Matt. I'll do if we keep, because they're moving to the new campus. Do we say like another New St. Lillian? I don't know what we say now. Let's see, Michael. Good morning. The more we get fall camp reports, the more I get excited for the season. Thank you for doing what you do. Absolutely, man. And I'll tell you, like, seriously, thank Brian Kelly. I mean, he's the one who keeps giving us access, tons of access, which allows us to do our jobs better. So I'll tell you, man, if you didn't listen to Locked On today, even if you don't listen to the whole thing, at least go listen to the first segment, because I feel like my intention was to zero and to pinpoint through Blake Baker's eyes exactly where this defense is right now. And it's encouraging. Not great, but encouraging if you want to go check it out. Jason Austin, let's see. Bo wants some intel on Jonah Williams. Sure, Bo. Just message me privately, please. But very candidly, Bo, and this isn't a knock on you, I know a lot of people who do a tremendous job covering recruiting and then also on the baseball side of things as well. I'm not sure there's anything you can tell me that I don't know. And maybe you can. Maybe you're best friends with Jonah Williams and he's told you where he's going. But just understand that you can send me whatever you want, but send me whatever you want. Christian Geiger, good morning. Rex, good morning. Randall, I feel for the people going to the home game against Nichols. It's going to be 120 degrees. Joel, morning, Matt. Going to be interested to see if we start seeing more consistency, who's running with the ones at DB. Joel, we have seen consistency with the ones. Like, that hasn't changed at all. I mean, the ones have been Sage Ryan and Ashton Stamps at corner, Jordan Gilbert and Jordan Allen at safety, Major Burns is the star, and when they go nickel, Jair Brown's been the nickel back. I mean, that's been all camp. Lenny Moss, what's going on, Lenny? It's a target pickup kind of morning, not bragging. Okay, I don't know what that means. Lenny, I'm not sure I know what that means. Like picking up groceries? I don't know what you mean. But anyway, hope you're doing great, man. Hope you and the fam are doing awesome. I feel like we haven't seen y'all in forever, man. Brian Wynn, Michael Cook, Wacky Chris, good morning. Excited about any defensive improvement. Confident defensive play paired with dominant offense can take us to the playoff. You know, Chris, that was really my expectation a year ago when I picked LSU to go to the playoff and win it. I was exceedingly confident, clearly, that the offense was going to be really good, and they were. I'm not telling you that I thought Jaden would win a Heisman and they would have been the number one offense in college football, but I wouldn't have ruled it out because I thought they'd be really good. I never, ever could have foreseen the defense being that bad. So, anyway, yes, I think that is the formula. I think the offense is going to be really good again. How much better can the defense be? Jeff, what up, my dude? Hope all is well. Rocky, morning, watched Locked On last night. Thanks for the scrimmage recap. I know the offense is good. Encouraging to hear defense is winning their fair share. It was crazy too, man. I mean, the defense on Saturday, the defense just got their nose rubbed in it all day. And then they started the scrimmage period, and the defense won. Picked off Nuss, came up with a sack. Perk got a TFL. Jair Brown and Sage Ryan had forced incompletions. I mean, it was something. And then Caleb Jackson did dump truck with Weeks. It was Caleb Jackson. If you missed the scrimmage recap, I saw the play, but I was looking over the defense, so I couldn't see who Caleb Jackson obliterated. There were some media members there who said they thought it was Witt. I didn't see it, so I didn't know definitively. Well, LSU released the video. It was Witt. Let's see. Matt, YouTube comments only allow so many characters. Had to break it up. I didn't realize he played all 2 games a year ago. My bad. All good. Yeah, no, like Perkins played. It's just a big misconception, man. People are like, where did Perkins go? He disappeared. No, he didn't. The defense was atrocious. Perkins was all over the field. He stuffed the stat sheet in every conceivable way. As a freshman, he played in all 14 games. Remember, they played the SEC championship game. And as a sophomore, he played in 13 games, 12 regular season in the bowl game. So he's played in every game of his college career. Ryan Pike, I know it means nothing in the real world, but I've been scoring more touchdowns with CJ Daniels than any other wide receiver in the new NCAA. Well, it makes sense, though, Ryan, because he has been a 1,000-yard receiver in real life. So if they're grading him in college or for the video game based on what he's done, that does make sense. Weston Weaver, Caleb Clark, good morning, y'all. Let's see. Coach Nate Green, good morning. Hunter, hey, Matt, may have missed you being asked this, but how did you like Rattler this weekend? I'm never going to draw like wide sweeping conclusions from a preseason game. But what I will say is I love that he led a touchdown drive, and I love that he led a two-minute drive to go win the game. I mean, there's confidence there. And we know he's got the physical ability. I don't ever look at as someone doing well in the preseason and say that automatically that's going to translate to Sundays. But the flip side is also true, whereby if you don't perform in the preseason, it's hard to imagine, like, okay, if you're struggling against guys that are going to be out of work next week or in a month, how do we think this is going to work when bullets are flying for real on NFL Sundays? You know what I mean? So it's an encouraging step for Rattler. And I thought Hayner was competent too. Damon, good morning. Bubba, White wanted a top contract. The Bucs are dedicated to Levante David. White's numbers diminished in his previous 2 seasons. He became vocal about contract extension. It's a lack of progress. Yeah, all right. So he'll go play in Philly this year, probably have a great year, and then get broke off. Jeff McKithen, good morning. Lou, I don't see the point of having SC championship game with an extended playoff. Just an increased risk for injuries. I can see players sitting in the future. It's stupid. That's a lot of games. There's no point in an SC championship game at all, ever, Lou. The only reason the SEC championship game ever came into existence was, Roy Kramer's talked about that. Roy Kramer was a commissioner when he instituted it in 92 after the league expanded, adding Arkansas and South Carolina, and it was just a money grab. It was an opportunity to have another TV window and to make money, and it worked brilliantly, and everybody copied it. They followed because it worked. But yes, competitively, there's no reason to have that SEC championship game, especially now in an expanded playoff. I completely agree. Because certainly you're going to hang another loss on one of your top 2 teams. Now, in theory, regardless of the outcome of that game, both of those teams are going to make a 12-team playoff. Hard to imagine any scenario where that doesn't happen. But yeah, it's another game. It's almost an advantage not to play to get that week off. Now, if you win the SC championship game, then you're going to be a top 4 seed and you're going to have a bye, so you get the week off after. But there's pros and cons. But yes, I'd rather be Notre Dame, go 11-1, be in the playoff, and not have to play in a championship game. Absolutely advantage. Bubba Smith, Irfan Sayad. Hey, Dad, good morning. Brian Penn, good morning from Columbia. Do you think Glenn Dorsey is a top 10 player since the 2000s for all of college football? That's a good question, Brian. Probably not, just because the game is so heavily weighted toward quarterbacks in the offense now. You're talking about top 10 players in the last 25 years of college football. Glenn is, like, if you're talking about the top 10 defensive linemen or top 10 defensive players, you got definitely an argument there. But top 10 overall players in the last 25 years in college football, just when you start ticking off the quarterbacks, it's hard to get there. And then you've had obviously defensive players who have finished high in Heisman balloting, like Ndamukong Suh, Aiden Hutchinson, Manti Te'o. But all those guys finished runner-up for the Heisman, So I wouldn't say top 10 since 2000, right? Top 10 defensive linemen, I think you can get there for sure. Leon Williams, good morning. Let's see. Dane, morning, Matt. Don't worry about ticking people off. I've been doing that all my life. I'm not worried about it, Dane. I think you know me well enough by now to know that. It's innate. Jerry, good morning. Heading in for a stress test. All right, Jerry, hope all goes well, man. Keep us posted. Sure it's going to be fine, man, but chin up and all that good stuff, man. We'll be pulling for you. You know that. Let us know how it goes. Corey, has John Emery graduated yet? Yes. Will he be full-time football this season? Well, you still have to be enrolled. You can't graduate, not be enrolled in school, and play football. So, yes, John Emery did graduate, and so he would have to now be enrolled in graduate school. But yes, John Emery graduated. Matt, I'll roll with whatever Drew decides to call it. Matt, us too. Club Ruckus, what's going on, man? Charlie Cavell, what's up? Bubba, Matt, you want some intel on the Kennedy assassination? Directions to the corner of flat Earth? Hit me up. God. Thanks, Bubba. Look, man, I'm not trying to knock the guy who said, who was talking about the Jonah Williams info, but you got to understand, man, maybe you don't have to understand. It's an interesting, just human condition that people want to feel like they're in the know. It's why people subscribe to websites where they feel like they're getting the inside intel or whatever. It's people want to feel like they're in the know, and I get that. But most people also have no idea the level of the amount of work it takes to develop and cultivate good relationships, to get good sources of information. That unless if that guy is Jonah Williams' brother, who's he's my brother. He told me where he's going last night. Okay. But we'll see. Again, I'm not, it's not a, and then whatever. I don't want to sound like I'm being a jerk about it. I don't want to be like, oh, I know and you don't, because I don't know what Jonah Williams is going to do, but I don't think he does either. And then whenever you get info, then you end up chasing your tail, because then you go vet it through everybody, and it's 99.999% of the time it's something you already know or something that's irrelevant. But anyway, Charlie, heard Mike Scarborough say he's really concerned about DL. Okay. It was funny. Before practice on Saturday, I was standing there with Mike Scarborough and Buddy Sanji, and they were going back and forth about the defense. And Buddy's more optimistic. Mike is more pessimistic. That's what I took from that conversation. I don't really know. I think they can be good. I've seen them make plays. Can they be good consistently? I think is a big question. Brad David, when Spurrier left the NFL, why did he go to South Carolina? Could he have gotten a better job with more resources? I don't think so. And I think he also wanted to play a lot of golf. James McKinney, you got to remember, you also only have the jobs available that are open in that hiring cycle. So it got Spurrier back into the SEC, got into a place where you win 8 games, they build you a statue, he's the greatest coach ever there. Played a lot of golf. Actually made sense, James McKinney, Dane, I like the SEC championship game. Dane, the SEC championship game is fine. And Dane said it put LSU in the BCS. They would not have been there without it. Not necessarily, Dane, because you also don't know the other contributing factors around college football, like what would have happened with the Big 12 championship game per se. Like Oklahoma lost the Big 12 championship game. Actually, Dane, you're wrong. Because Oklahoma lost the Big 12 championship game, was already in. LSU was number 2. SC was 3 there. So it wasn't the SC championship game that got LSU in. USC lost to Cal, didn't they? Wasn't Cal their loss, I believe? But Dane, look, it's great theater. There's no doubt. It's great theater. The point is, it's just pointless. Like there's no... The SEC was founded in 1932? 1932? I think that's right. And for 60 years, they crowned a champion without a conference championship game. Like, it's doable. And nobody was like, man, for 60 years, man, if only we had a conference champion, if only we had a better way to crown a champion. You know what I mean? Like, you don't really need it. It was a money grab. And it's been great theater. And it's been good to LSU. I mean, the 0-1 team is a great example of that. It's also not, it also really doesn't matter. All right, please smash the like button if you would. Subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post, all that good stuff. Scott Bork, good morning. Matt, trying to learn more about whiskey. For Weller, what are the orange label, white label, red label, green label, blue label bottles? Yes, black is 12. So the entry level baseline is green label, which is Weller Special Reserve. The red is Weller 107. It's Old Weller Antique, so you'll see it sometimes abbreviated OWA. So it's 107 proof. The orange is single barrel. The blue is full proof. Means it's uncut. It's proofed the same way it is when it comes out of the barrel. And then white is CYPB, which is Craft Your Perfect Bourbon. A few years ago, Weller asked its fans what would, the perfect mash bill be for a new Weller, and that's what they came up with CYPB, which is the white label. So there you have it. And then there's William LaRue, which is the BTAC, the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection Weller, which is right there. Dane, there you go, man. Bailey C. Rattler has more upside than Hainer. I agree with that. Brian Penton, I meant to say defensive. Sorry, I missed that one. Cajun Country, good morning. Really enjoying Locked On. I can tell how much work you put into it. It shows during the show. Thank you, man. Yeah, it's the first iteration of Locked On when I did it years ago, it was I would get off AFR and I would really just I was really just clipping segments from AFR, repurposing because we didn't have a podcast function. So I would take my AFR LSU content and just clip it, head, tail it, and package it up nicely. And that was Locked On. Now Locked On is its own show. It's completely original content. A lot of times it's the same stuff I'm talking about on AFR, but it is its own show recorded originally for Locked On. So, yeah, but so thank you. Yes, it is a good amount of work, but it's been great. I mean, the response to Locked On LSU has been awesome. I think I told y'all we got the numbers for July. And I had two goals. Number one, when I started, I had two goals. Number one, I wanted to be in the top 10 on the college channel by the end of July, which I did. So we were actually number 3. And then I wanted, by the time they kick off against USC, I wanted to have the podcast numbers back to where it was when I left. And we are very much, I'm not there yet, but we're very much trending in that direction. I think over the next 3 weeks, we will get there. But I'll keep you all posted. But I do appreciate the support very much. Where are we? Gorilla, does Perk in your mind come back for a senior year? No. He's going to be a first-round draft pick. No. Matt, let's see. Blast from the past. I worked with Mickey Johnson's mom. I couldn't get any inside info. He was the DT from St. Paul's. He was ecstatic when he picked LSU. I remember that. Yeah. I remember Mickey Johnson. But that's true. I mean, anyway. Rocky Kool-Aid was all over the field Saturday. He may be the real deal. It doesn't take 3 years to figure out if a guy can play. I agree with you on that. Kool-Aid was great. That was definitely a major plus from Saturday night. Seth, anyway, LSU meets expectations this year and Nussmeier doesn't go to the draft. Yeah. I mean, you have to meet expectations, Seth. I mean, they could go 10-2. And the other thing worth remembering is, Nussmeier is in a situation where a healthy NIL deal could keep him here. I don't think he's like desperate to go to the draft. And I think also having seen the example of Jaden coming back for a fifth year, Burrow coming back for a fifth year, second year as a starter. I mean, there's recent history to say, okay, you get your feet wet in that first season, but then your second year as a starter is the kaboom. And that could be it for Nussmeier too. So yeah, I think there's a really good shot he's back in 2025. Gorilla, speaking of whiskey, I enjoyed some Lot B for the first time at a family reunion. All I could think about was you jumping in the pool while polishing off your bottle. Top 3 all-time pour for me. Very cool. Yeah, Lot B is great. So Lot B is the Van Winkle 12-year. Lot B is what they call it. So 12-year Lot B. It's fantastic. You got it. There you go, Matt. Anytime. Let's see. Matt, we missed Nightcap. Will you bring it back during the regular season? Maybe, Rocky. I like doing Nightcap. The reality is I have to have some time for my family. and Locked On is now like my nightly project. Like every night I get home at 6:45, 7. I eat dinner. Then I'm spending time with Drew. We go do our nightly ride around, whatever. I feed him his dinner. We play, whatever. And then help Erica. Drew gets so many medicines. Like we have to pull up medicines each night for him for his day, for the next day. So I help pull up medicines and kind of just get the day ready for tomorrow and all that stuff. Then she usually goes and bathes him around like 9:15, 9:30, and that's when I start Locked On. She bathes him and then puts him to sleep. That's when I do Locked On, and then I'm finished by like 10:30, and then usually I shower and go to bed. Or Eric and I will stay up and spend some time together or something. But it's a lot. I love doing Nightcap, and I might be able to find a way to allocate time to make it work, but it's a challenge. It's a challenge. Like I sacrifice a lot of time, a lot of family time, and I'm not complaining at all. I mean, I love what I do. I'm fortunate to do what I do, and I've had a lot of success doing what I do. But that's the trade-off, right? You do sacrifice a lot of family time. But so when I have my family time, like that's what I'm locked into. That's like when I go on vacation, I'm on vacation. Like I'm not doing work when I still do morning Scone. I did Locked On this year, but like I'm not on Twitter. I'm not listening to shows or any. I'm unplugged completely. Let's see. Is Emery gone? No, Emery's not gone. He's still on the roster. David Bass, good morning. Rocky, yeah, man. Thank you. Randall, I don't understand what the Derek Carr fans see in him. He's just not a good quarterback, and I would rather draft a rookie than pay him anything over the veteran minimum. I've been saying that for more than a year now. Gorilla, God bless you and your family. You're committed to the morning Scone like no other. So be good if Nightcap doesn't come back. Look, I'm not saying it won't come back. And I love doing it. I just have to make it work, time-wise. Mark, will Trevor Penning start this year for the Saints? Boy, watching the game real time, Mark, I didn't necessarily notice Trevor Penning having a really bad time or anything out there. Going back and seeing some of the clips, though, boy, he just doesn't look the part. There's one play where he got ragdolled on a bull rush. There was one play where he was pulling out in front of a toss to the right side, and he just whiffed on a block. He had the holding call. Like, yeah, I just don't think he's a good player. Not in space. I think he's probably a guy that needs to be a guard. You put him in a phone booth and you let him just be physical at the point of attack, which I think he can do. Just not great. Not great. Mike, morning, Matt. If things go south for DA, can you see the leaders on defense stand up for him, prolong his firing? No. Front office isn't going to make a hiring or firing decision based on what the leaders on defense want. Looking at week 4 games, UCLA LSU looks like a lock for a night game. I'm going to repeat this again. You have to delete from your memory. Did you ever see the movie Men in Black, when he has a little light thing, he flashes a light and you forget everything? You have to delete from your memory what you know and have known for 20 years about when games are on TV and why. Like, oh, the best game's at 2:30. No. You got to delete that from your brain, okay? The reason it was like that for so long was because CBS paid a rights fee to have first pick. They had one game, but they had first pick. And they had a 2:30 window, 2:30 Central Time, 3:30 Eastern, okay? CBS no longer has that rights deal anymore. ESPN, ABC bought the entirety of the SEC football package. So they can put any game on whenever they want. 11, 2:30, 6:30, 6:45, 7:30. It don't matter. They can put games on whenever they want. They can put it on ABC, ESPN, ESPN2, ESPNU, SEC Network. They can put any game on anywhere. So in theory, if LSU wants to have all home night games, they can put LSU on at night the entire season, which I think actually is going to happen. Now, I know they're at South Carolina in week 3, and they're playing that game at 11 a.m. Central, noon Eastern. But point is, like, you don't look at we've been conditioned now to look at the league schedule a certain way and try to guess when LSU's games are going to be based on, okay, which is going to be the 2:30 CBS game. That doesn't exist anymore. There is no more 2:30 CBS game. There's a 2:30 game on that. There will be that. There's 3 TV windows, as you know, but ESPN and their family of networks will broadcast all the SEC games across all those networks whenever they want. There is no, okay, well, you go first and then we pick. It's where do you want to put what to manipulate it. However, maybe ESPN doesn't see 2:30 as the most valuable real estate. Maybe they see it as the prime time game is the most valuable real estate, and that's where they load up their best games across all their networks. I don't know. We'll see. We'll learn how they want to do it. But you got to purge from your brain the thought best game 2:30. That doesn't exist anymore. You have to just light flashy thing Men in Black from your brain, because that does not exist anymore. How about the JD bomb for 40-something down the sideline? That was his first completion, too. And then his touchdown run. How about that? Jaden Daniels throwing dimes downfield and outrunning defenders to the pylon. Joel, are we ever going to get Scone and T again? Yes, Joel. I will tell you. So for me and T-Bob, similarly, it has to make sense for us financially to give up an evening with our family to go do that show and commit to doing it. We have been in touch with 3 potential locations to do the show. And I do think that's going to get done, actually. But we'll let you know when it happens. Let's see, a couple more here. Please smash the like button. Go real over under on Billy Boy getting fired mid-season. If he does, I think it's in November, because they could lose 5 straight in November. Like, look at their schedule. Florida finishes this. Here's Florida's last 5 games. So they have an open date October 26th. Then they go Georgia. Yeah, their neutral site against Georgia in Jacksonville. Georgia, at Texas, LSU, Ole Miss, at Florida State. I mean, I think they're losing their last 5 games. So somewhere in that stretch, he probably gets fired, I would think. Mark, how empty will the dome be this year? I don't know, man. Don't want to think about it. Who determines what time a game is played? The networks. And they do it in conjunction with the league. where they can make things happen. Like, um, you know, what, what games like do they want to have on Thanksgiving Day? What's the Black Friday game? What, things like that. Like LSU wants night games. It's stuff like that. They'll try to work hand in hand with the league, but the networks make the decisions. Mike, what are the usual time slots for ESPN? Yeah, I mean the same 11, 2:30, and then you got like the 7:30 night game on ABC. You'll have like a 6:30 on ESPN, but like you've seen them stagger start times like 6, 7, and 8 o'clock across the ESPN networks as well. So that does happen too. Mark, what network's covering the Vegas LSU game? It's on ABC. Who's the ABC broadcast crew for SEC games? I don't know if they've announced that yet, Chance. That's a good question. Probably Joe Tessitore and Greg McElroy. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think they have the announcers here. Huh. I don't know if they've announced that yet. Please smash the like button if you would subscribe to the channel, Facebook. Follow along on the page or the profile. We appreciate that. I hit the follow button and you share and all that good stuff. Shout out to all of our sponsors. Remember, our sponsors are linked in the description on YouTube, and I will tag everybody in the Facebook post as well. So you need an orthopedic, go to Brock. You need a roof, give us a shout at Parrish. I would love to help you out. Unique Physique, semaglutide, tirzepatide. They have telemed options. So you can do the whole thing over the phone. They'll ship your medicine anywhere in the country. So even if you're outside of Baton Rouge, they can help. And Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com. If you got pain, book a session with Crystal Poche at restoredmotions.com. Let's see. Who would have thought CBS football better at 2:30 and Dr. Quinn and Medicine Woman better at 7? Is that what CBS played at night on Saturdays? But again, it's just when you had TV deals. If the price is right, man, go talk to your boys. Joel, also sorry, I feel like a jerk asking about Scone and T in the middle of you talking about families. It's all good, man. No, but I would rather you care. I would rather people want us to do more content. What sucks is when you do something people don't watch or listen to. So yes, thank you. I appreciate it very much. T-Bob in a place called the Tap Room, Golden. Got to be Fowler and Herbie. Maybe, but remember, they're the ABC primetime, but that's not going to be necessarily an SEC game every week. The primetime ABC game, because ESPN has Big Ten, they've got ACC. ESPN has deals with all of those leagues to carry games. So it's not necessarily going to be Fowler and Herbie on the SEC game every week. As a matter of fact, now I think of it, you're probably going to have Joe Tess and McElroy on that 2:30 slot every week. That's what I bet happens. And you'll have, I guess the SEC Network primetime game will still be, well, I guess it would be Tom Hart, Jordan Rogers. I guess they'd stay on and Cole on SEC Network. I don't think they've announced any of that. If they have, I missed it, but it'd be interesting. Antron, when's the next Brian Kelly press conference? I think it's tomorrow. Let's see. I think BK is tomorrow. If y'all give me 1 second, I'll find it. Let's see, BK. Here you go. Let's see. Today's the 12th. Yep. All right, 12th. 10:45, viewing only. Player interviews at 11:55. Tuesday, full access player interviews at 11:55. Wednesday, 10:45. Then BK Wednesday. Then no media access Thursday or Friday. Then Saturday. I wonder if they're going to go in Tiger Stadium on Saturday. Anyway. So BK on Wednesday. Players today, players tomorrow, then BK Wednesday. All right, let's get going here, y'all. Wendell, good morning. And Landry, any news on Saints bringing in an offensive line help via trade or free agency? No. That's kind of my point all offseason is as the Saints went and brought in Chase Young and Willie Gay, and now they're talking about Justin Simmons, I look and I go, why didn't you add offensive line and wide receiver help where you actually really needed it? But we'll see. All right, y'all. That'll do it for us. Please smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, Facebook, follow on the profile there, and share all that stuff. We appreciate it. Y'all have an awesome, awesome day. Locked on LSU is live, podcast or YouTube. We appreciate you. And, of course, AFR at 3. I'll have a full practice report on AFR right at 3 o'clock.